flanked and pushed from multiple different directions. Sure, it's nice to have a little bit of circle favor come your way, but with squad after squad starting to stack up on top of you, it gets to be really, really hard to hold this and survive through.
Oh no, I think Vis just got knocked out of his vehicle, or dropped out of the vehicle rather in the translation. That's not good. Chappie getting tagged up, but does get taken down. It's McCoy that lands that kill, and suddenly everybody moves in. Noble are getting pushed. Monkey comes in and around there, so AAA trying to take that position. They're still sitting on the edge. They still have 3 members alive, AAA. Remember, they had a very good finish in the first round, but didn't have too much success in the second. The circle comes in, and Method are perfectly in the position once again. They positioned their vehicles in there a long time ago, and now everybody has to cross very much an open field into the hands of Method. Method could rack themselves up a lot of kills if they can deal with Alliance, who are currently behind them.
You can see Method has managed to secure one of the few remaining buildings. Sure, it's a shack. It's not the most preferable thing on the face of the earth.
They have a vehicle set,
but they do have the vehicle around it. Yeah, so they have a little bit of control coming out. Now, the big thing on it is all of these squads that we saw that were holding down those yellow buildings beforehand, they're going to have to disengage and come up into this area, and that's probably where a big firefight is going to be occurring at. You can see a couple of downs have already started coming out inside of here. Noble's pushing right up on top of Ghoul. They're trying to make their way inside of here. Meanwhile, Nomi's trying to provide a little bit of cover fire. Daculus really wants to push inside of this. They know that there's several squads that are around here, and they just have to fight their way inside of this. Multiple people for Evil Geniuses are active. One person's down off to the side. Nomi's trying to do a run forward right now.
So TSM are pushing. You can see AimPro, he's coming in behind Sweater. Smack's just been taken down. So AimPro, the last man standing for TSM as they move in. Sweater also down. The rest of his team not going to be able to help him out, so he will be finished off, I feel, by AimPro. There are two signs. Is it Sweater and Crunch together? I would assume so. AimPro's the one that's trying to creep up on him. Is it? No, it's not. It's X actually that's with him, and he has managed to get him up. Here comes Ghost Gaming. They have started to make the move outside of the complex that they're in. Obviously, EG sticking in there because Noble's in their back. AAA, meanwhile, they're creeping their way in towards the circle. AimPro once again looking to try and get himself some shots off there. Ghost Gaming take him down in the end from range. It's a fight that he wasn't hoping to get engaged on, but Ghost Gaming, they needed a big round and they're starting to get it here. Looks like EG are in trouble now. It's a case of who they get in there. And this is all because Method have been completely distracted by Alliance. Now they've taken him down. Now the kills start rolling in. You can see Ghost Gaming starting to pick up a lot of kills. They've not had the circle advantage too much in their favor, but they are starting to work it. Now AAA, who've been sitting quite pretty on the edge, don't have a great deal of cover. Look at them. They're in open fields on the left-hand side. You see Ghost in there, Define Legit and Profi, who've been looking for kills throughout it. Well, Define Legit has found them. McCoy, who's been the last man alive for them for the last 2 rounds, has gone down outside the zone, and suddenly, with 12 alive, we have 4 squads in there. It's Method, it's NIP, it's Ghost Gaming, and AAA.
And we saw that with that fight that was happening down in the southeastern corner where those yellow buildings were at, they just couldn't disengage and took so much damage from the circle as they were coming back through. We do see Ghost Gaming does manage to survive through it, though.
Well, the circle just changed. Method now have to move. They haven't had to move for the last 3 circles. They've been in a very good position, but they have to come across. But look at AAA. They are absolutely scrounging for any sort of cover, but they're belly crawling in there while everybody fights. Andy Pyro finds himself this kill on Sweater. X is the last man standing there. Ghost Gaming have been picked off. It's AAA with 3 alive, Method with 4 alive, and NIP with just the 1. It's AAA, the only team at the moment that are in that circle, but they have no cover. They are on a repair road. It is a bush Wookiee for Shadow.
Hey, sometimes just hiding outside the bushes, that'll be fine. They do have a little bit of a ridge that they can play along, so they're just kind of slow pushing inside this. They know that everybody's going to have to come down around them, and they seem to have a good idea on where Method is, just due to how all the gunshots come out.
Here we go. You can see Leighton. He's going to get piling across. The newest member of Method is going to get spotted out by Shadow there. Oh, he knocked himself as he came out. Shiv did take a shot, a single bullet on the vehicle, but I'm pretty sure he downed himself there, jumping out of that car a little too early. X is already moving in for it. X is coming across. Shiv has just got down by Energetic Turtle. It is going to be Shadow and Monkey, the last 2 that can stand for them. Monkey, you can see with nothing there. He gets down. Shadow, the last man standing. Looks like it's going to be NIP that get picked up as well. Method should surely take this unless Shadow can go absolutely huge. 80 finds himself the shot, and it is one man, Shadow, who just lays in wait, finds himself 1. Can he get the other 2 as he pushes on? The blue is on him. It's going to be hurting so much. Just 11 bullets in the gun as he finds Energetic Turtle, and Andy Pyro has to get the reload. Goes for the first aid, and it is certainly doable. Energetic Turtle is going to be in the zone first. Shadow has to move, and look at this. Andy Pyro absolutely has him down, dead to rights, and Method clock themselves up a rack of kills. 17 kills in that round for Method. Absolutely brilliant round from them.
And again, we're seeing a very strong performance coming out from our top performing team. Method was definitely needing those kills to come through there, and they were needing that win. And that is just going to shoot them straight up through the leaderboard. Additionally, we have been talking quite a bit about AAA, or Against All Authority. They come out very strong in this, not netting as many kills, all things considered, but a couple of these teams that we haven't really seen showing up on the leaderboard, such as Ninjas in Pajamas, Ghost Gaming, Noble, they do all secure top 5 finishes with several kills apiece.
Meanwhile, FaZe down in 10th, Penta way outside. This has not been a good day for them. Obviously, there is another 5 rounds to go, so still plenty of time to pull those points back. But wow, what a round from Method. You know, they dived into Pachinki. It was center map. It's why you go there. It gives you a really good advantage. They were pretty much in the circle for a large portion of it. They were in and around Chopsticks. Remember, they fought. They took down Liquid. They fought. They took down the next team as well. They just pushed their way in. They didn't have it easy. They had to fight their way through it. Wind and Rain as well, they took down, I believe, as well. So they really have fought for this first place position. It's not one of those times where you just sit there and wait and look for that couple of kills. And if you look down the board, you know, AAA didn't have a great deal of cover. NIP, 3 kills across them. So while they got 3rd place, it doesn't net them that much. It's, what, 220 points total, whereas 17 kills and a 1st place for Method. That is massive, massive amounts. 470 points, I believe.
Just off of that round.
Just off that singular round. It could actually rocket them into 1st place.
Well, we've been seeing, we'd have to go back and look through. I'm trying to see where we see that Digital Chaos came out inside of there. Looks like they didn't make it into the top 12 that round, not from where I can see at. So that's definitely going to open up the leaderboard. We do still have one more round inside of here. So we're seeing a lot of variants come out inside of where the teams normally play at and where they're starting to place into. Naturally, we start to see at this point some level of control start coming out from one of the teams. Like they're saying, hey, I've got this, I've got this. But now we're actually starting to see teams separate out.
Well, guys, you've seen the man performing so well. It is Andy Pyro standing by for the Xfinity interview with Richard Sims.
Thank you very much indeed, D-Man. Ladies and gentlemen, round number 3 goes to Method. Andy, first question then. How's it feel, man? Chicken dinner under the belt, day number 1.
It feels good.
Yeah?
The same old feeling. Seriously, I got the same feeling as Gamescom. It feels good. It's good performance, clean performance. It feels good. We knew we could do it.
Now, let's talk about your kind of journey here. Obviously, you were one of the invited teams. You've been to a team house. You've been practicing together. Obviously, you've made a team change. It was a substantial team change when you kind of swap out a team captain. You swap out the in-game leader there. You know, when you come to that point, there's a lot of work to be done. How's this affected you and your team practice, swapping out your captain and bringing in a new player leading into this competition?
Everything just went better. We got someone who listens, and I took the shot calling play mainly on the teams, and then the team talks to me, and we trust each other. So we actually got the spirit in the team. Everybody trusts each other.
Hello.
Works 4 minds as one.
Kind of looking at you guys, you know, everyone's kind of been changing things up a bit. We know you guys are big Pachinki fans. Sticking to your guns though. At the moment, you're kind of sticking to that one tactic, kind of go there. I'm assuming you guys have got something in the bag should you need to go somewhere else and do something else?
Well, basically, we've been training Pachinki so much that we holding the strong point. Unless someone challenges us, then we're gonna use the experience in Pachinki to actually like get it out. We got plenty of plans, but we're using them one by one if it's necessary.
All right, then, final question. Obviously, you're a big streamer. You've got plenty of people behind you. To everyone that's kind of subbed to you, donated, supported, followed you through your journey from the start to the finish, what do you got to say to all your fans out there and at home right now?
Oispa kalia.
Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Pyro and Team Method, congratulations once again, guys. We're going to a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We're right back for game number 4.
the history comes full circle yet again. Now. The persistence, the dreams, the sweat, the struggle, the tradition. Some things cannot be named, some places cannot be described. You can feel it. You know you can be a part of the extraordinary.
Då nasıl yok? Yo! Oh my!
Game, record, and stream without compromise. I'm Intel Core i7.
I got it right, you can't stop the mic. You should have took flight, tell them when I bring it home. I'll take the top throne, keep when I bring it, I keep them yelling out. Cause I can smell victory, 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 victory. We're no strangers to love.
Whoa, that's amazing. Hey! On the internet. I know a bunch of people who would love that.
The internet loves what you're doing. So build a better website in under an hour with Go Central from GoDaddy. Type in your idea, select from designs tailored just for you, and publish your site with just a few clicks, even from your mobile phone. The internet is waiting. Start for free today at GoDaddy.
Tình yêu của em là biển rộng, anh như con thuyền nhỏ chưa một lần ra khơi. Bên bờ hạnh phúc thật xa xôi, nhưng nếu không dám đi sẽ không bao giờ tới. Và anh cứ căng buồm mặc kệ cho gió thổi, dù sao con tim đã quen với sự dày vò rồi. Như cánh bướm mềm cố bay trong giông tố. Tâm trí anh bảo không nên cố, vì ngoài kia hung dữ làm những được sống sót. But still I'm diving in that deep sea. Mưa gió cứ về tiếp đi. Let me get lost, let me get drowned. Let me get ruined, let my knees down. Got caught up in the middle of this cold world. Looking for your love, where you go, girl? I'm looking for your love, where you go, girl?
Babe, come run and take my hand. Show me where to go. I think you know. Without you, it's getting so cold. Baby, come run and take my hand. Show me where to go. I think you know. I'm lost in it, it's getting so cold. So cold.
Xong tình em rồi tim anh vỡ nát. Chơi với anh nghe biển hát. Không em nơi đây dường như biển khác. Không còn hiền hòa, không còn yên lặng, nhưng lại dồn dập và đầy bí ẩn. Cùng màu xám buồn không có tí nắng. Như con tim em vô tình và độc ác. Nhưng anh vẫn không đi con đường khác, bởi vì anh đã yêu em nhiều như thế đấy. Anh đã yêu em nhiều như thế đấy. It's killing me, girl, I mean that. Walk through hell like I've been there. Love hurts of it, just me. But I'm in too deep, baby, trust me. I'ma keep it going till I see your smile. Even though the wound trying to stop me now. But baby girl, please wait for me. I'm here alone in this deep sea. I'm losing myself just to fight your love. If it can't fight it there, then I lose it all. Is it love hurts of it, just me? But I'm in too deep, baby, trust me. Still looking for your love, where you go, girl? I'm looking for your love, where you go, girl?
Come run and take my hand. about you and it's getting so cold. Baby, come run and take my hand. Show me where to go. I think you know I'm lost in it, it's getting so cold. Knowing you're going far away from me, I could drown my soul into the water. 'Cause I know that it's over. Let us see, take away the pain from me. Để em trở về như giữa biển khơi, gọi tên anh nhưng sao quá xa vời. Nơi tình yêu của anh quá xa, đường dài nơi đây chỉ.
The master plan there as they're able to take the victory with 17 kills, backing themselves 470 points and being able to propel themselves up the leaderboard indeed. Welcome back to the Xfinity analysis desk here as I am with Avenger once again as well as Steel. And there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of comparisons I want to make from the first game especially as well when it came to that first circle. Quite far west, but it seemed that the teams just in general were able to adapt to that much quickly, able to migrate over there quickly and set up effectively.
Yeah, definitely. We see a lot of teams moving early, really early actually, and they're in the circle, not 18 teams in the first circle before the first circle closes, and they're set up in their compounds and they're crossing their fingers. But I really think that moving on to the next circle, and you see really eastern, southeastern circle, it's a really tough time for everyone just northwest there.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, you've got your TSMs, etc., and some of the other teams kind of planted up towards the top of that circle to be able to try and eventually have to transition down there. It was initially favouring them, Steel, with that western circle being as it was, but overall, as Avenger's mentioning here, there is a difficult time trying to transition down to those bottom spots.
Yeah, transitioning down, especially in vehicles, you're going to get caught out every now and then, and I mean, for the most part, it seems like all of the teams are getting in vehicles at the same time, and then they're migrating all together, and if everyone's in a car and they're all driving separate cars, no one can shoot.
Right.
So we're seeing that, there's 70 people, even 65 people alive by the time the second circle fully closes.
I mean, there is points in that. It's kind of very reminiscent of our online play that currently goes on where, there are those phases where everybody gets in cars, everybody's going to one location, etc. and stuff like that. But there were a few teams, say for example, EG, that was very well set up in a great compound area, and they were able to kind of ride that wave off it very well. Greeting, I think it was Noble, and who else did they greet in that firefight?
Ghost Gaming, yeah.
Yeah, and that was a big firefight towards the kind of later stages.
Definitely, it's a big compound, and you can easily breach it. Actually, there's multiple walls, everything. It's easy to breach. But also, you see Nip taking a wide shot 2 times and actually making into the top 3. It's really well played by them.
Yep.
And also EG coming from the military base, and the circle favors them twice, and they're able to just walk into the best compound in the 4th circle, not being contested before people start to breach them. And also, I mean, it's a bit lucky, but still they played it really well, splitting splitting up in the 4 houses and just playing out of there.
Yeah, and just touching back on EG, they did have Ghost kind of come and say, hey, can we kick it here as well?
Yeah.
So they're both in the same area, the same vicinity. And what actually happened is they were in a really good position for a few circles, but then suddenly the circle goes completely opposite direction. Exactly. And then what happens is EG's in the barn and the houses, Ghost is in the barns and the houses, and there's one more team there, and all of them have to move at the same time. And we saw a massive firefight break out all at the same time with all these players trying to migrate at the same time from houses, and you're just coming out like 2x4 doorways, and you're in choke points.
Yeah.
If you take a vehicle, you're just going to get blown up. If you run, then you're just running on foot. You have to outrun the blue, and it's just a really messy situation. So I see what EG is doing, and honestly, if they're able to get lucky with the circle ending on them, then suddenly they win a game. They're propelling right forwards because they've made top 10, I think, every single game so far. So they're really good in the standings at the moment, and they're doing the same tactic: loot, go somewhere and camp out in the houses. If the circle lands on you, cool, chill, don't do anything. So eventually, if the circle does land on them, they can get really lucky and just sneak a win out.
Yeah, avoid the fights up until, well, I guess at that point, you know, Ghost Gaming was able to come out on top, but they were limping then into the circle, and that didn't work out too well for them. Halfway through that game, there was a fantastic little fight up towards the top of TSM going up against FaZe. Kind of a big matchup there that happened, and both of them effectively, there were, you know, scraps towards the very end of that, but those two teams effectively eliminating each other, finding that conflict, really puts those two teams in a very odd spot in terms of the standings for that last game.
Definitely, but still, you see TSM limping into the new circle. Yeah. But taking that fight with 45 seconds left on the new circle, they have a hard time getting into that new circle. And also, even though they wiped 2-3 guys from FaZe, they get 3 guys into the new circle, but the new circle doesn't favor them, so they have to split up.
Well, here's our overall standings at the moment. Look at that. Method, with 470 points from the last game, now propels into first place. And with AAA coming in at second at the moment. Anything that kind of stands out to you guys looking at that?
Yeah, Method, how many kills did they get that game?
17.
17, so that's even more than the original games, which was like 15 for the kills.
Yeah.
So they're really doing really well from that last game alone, just propelling them so much farther than everyone else. Like, we've been talking so much about AAA because they've been consistent. We've been talking a lot about Digital Chaos because they've been consistent. Tempo Storm, consistent, although not fighting as much. And then you go into Method, and the really good job of just like sliding their way up to the front almost at the end of the day.
I mean, Energy Turtle there in that last game was making the plays. Let's be honest. When it came together for Method, people like Energy Turtle were really making the plays. Did they kind of stand out for you overall?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I know the guys, I've played with them, and they're really strong mechanical players, and also they're really good at moving from the compounds, and they play openly. They don't go into the houses. They play openly and play aggressively, and that's a really strong point from them.
Very impressive by Method overall, and gaining that kind of point buffer that they have at the moment is powerful indeed. There's Andy Pyro on stream right now, after we heard from him in the interview. And he said something very important, which was after that they made the change of Raptor actually being taken out of the team, they come together as 4 minds as one. And it feels like in that game especially, that really kind of stood out, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. You see them having the only team as 4 guys in the end circle. They move together, they think together. It's just really, really well played by them, basically.
Yeah, and trust and respect is really important in team games as well. You have to be able to respect your shot caller. If they make a decision, that's final. There's no like, but I think this. No, you guys have to be on the same page. And it's so important for the team spirit, as he said, to make sure that everyone is respectful of one another.
So let's think about some of the problems that arose in that game there. Liquid had a bit of a hard time. They were very separated up. Scoom up to the top right, whilst we had 2 of the other members, Oli Man, I think it was Oli and Molly, whatever you want to call them. I always get my names mixed up a little bit. There's so many names to remember. But overall, they were very separated, and it seemed like a really rocky and rough time for them. They kind of need to kind of just conjoin together, I feel like, and they should be able to have some success in the upcoming games.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessary too. I think that splitting up like that, they loot split it. They loot different, and they don't need to come together before it's the 4th circle.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on how they like to loot before the show went on, and it was basically they like to split up. And we said, you know, if they are going to go out early in the rounds, it's because they're going to be split up, and they're not going to be able to help each other. They're not going to be able to share medical supplies, and they're not going to be able to revive one another.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a problematic situation, but as you said, there is the potential for you to have the strength in that kind of split loot situation. So you can look at either side of it and say what you want. So looking at the 4th game, the final game of the day, I think it's fair to say we're not expecting too much change up in terms of the drops. We didn't quite get to see too much of the drop action for that 3rd game there, but it seems like most of the teams are sticking to their standards. You know, we saw teams like EG having to eventually swing round, but they're gaining so much value from that kind of play where they're avoiding the fights. So should some of these teams kind of be taking a page out of their book and just avoiding, maybe staying in the blue a little bit, maybe playing a little bit like TSM does?
If they could, absolutely. They should go for it. But I think the thing with EG is like they're so far apart from all of the other opponents on the map that they can kind of pick and choose which routes they want to take and how many vehicles they want to take. And I think a large problem is where the circles are ending for some of these teams because, you know, they have to navigate through and around so many different teams. And are they going to do it on foot, or are they going to take vehicles? If they take vehicles, are they going to get blown up? They need to find multiple vehicles. And if they're landing in areas like Pochinki, you know, finding all those vehicles might be a little bit more of a difficult task.
All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen, as we're going to go to a short break now. But when we return, we have game number 4 on the way. It's the final game of the day here to determine the standings going into day number 2 for the PUBG Invitational.
Sống đi và tình chóng đến rồi cũng chóng đi. Sống đi, tình chóng đến và cũng chóng đi.
Baby, are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Em cộng với biển bằng nỗi đau, tình yêu của em và biển thật giống nhau. Khi dịu dàng, khi sâu thẳm, khi dồn dập em không quan tâm để những cơn sóng lớn xô vào bờ vỡ hết những lâu đài cát ta xây bằng giấc mơ. Và rồi mang giấc mơ của anh đi về vực tối nơi sâu thẳm anh không thể nào tìm tới. Và anh không thể nào hiểu được biển nên anh không thể nào hiểu được em. Anh không thể nào hiểu được tình yêu như giọt nắng không thể hiểu được đêm. Tất cả về em anh đều không hiểu, nhưng anh hiểu duy nhất có một điều: anh đã yêu và sẽ yêu tất cả, kể cả những nỗi đau mà em đã mang đến. So please come run and take my hand. Once again, Space Speakers, Thanh Nguyễn.
Qua những nỗi buồn của em thấy được gì ngoài những nỗi nhớ. Khi em xa anh, em đang cố tìm lại anh, người con trai đã quên em. Giờ đây mọi thứ vụn vỡ đi tất cả anh ơi.
Anh mơ tiếng cười thân quen, chiều trong tay bướm rong trời, mông lung đứng đoàn yêu thương có lẽ duyên ta không thành. Anh mang hết chuyện cô đơn gửi cho cơn gió phiêu du, chiều tan hoàn hôn xóa hết những nghi ngờ. Sao đôi tay chưa
far today is nothing short of spectacular from some of these teams, able to position themselves very strongly going into day 2. We've seen Method come out strong, we've seen AA come out strong, Tempo Storm as well and the like, DC starting things out in the start of the day. We've seen West Circle, Centre Circle, West Circle, where else are we wanting to see? What do we want to see to try and challenge these teams in terms of their decision making and kind of their ability to adapt to a situation?
I think the biggest one would be obviously a military ending. If it happens, you have like 19 teams that have to either make it across by boats, by bridges, and I think that's going to be very interesting to see. Also, if it's hard on the East Coast, maybe if it ends on like built a power plant, or if it just ends on one of the coastal regions and there's like a lot of water involved where, you know, basically half the zone you can't even go into.
Yeah.
I think that would also be interesting.
Your thoughts?
Definitely the same. I want to see a circle Stalber.
Yeah, Stalber.
Ending a Stalber.
Mountains, yeah.
Perfect. I love Stalber endings.
I think it's a really good point that you bring up with the potential of it being military, though, if that does come push to shove, because EG is the only team that seems to be going over there. I mean, there's been one or two other drops there,
yeah.
But as you say, those bridges could be absolute death traps. Everyone would love a boat to be able to maybe go very south of military to those beaches, etc., and things like that. But there's a limited amount of boats.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to find that many boats, and when you do, if you want to try and pick up other boats to try and kind of save yourself situations, then that could be problematic as well. Is that fair?
Oh, definitely. But still, there are some teams good at really playing out of these situations. You see,
like AAA and
AAA. You see the Western circles. We have 2-3 Western circles and ending in the middle though. But Western circles, AAA, they're looting Malta.
Yep.
They're still able to accelerate into coming last in the last zones and play out of that.
I love the fact that you get, especially, we saw it online a lot, which is, you know, players and teams, etc., just establish themselves a strong foothold on certain locations. And I feel it's awesome to see that things like North Georgia Pole or very far North Georgia Pole, that's TSM land. And in places like Milta, that's AAA land and stuff like that. So do you think, though, going into the next day, day 2, there are going to be teams that want to challenge those positions? Because it gets kind of frantic and frenzious when you're so far behind in points and maybe you have to do something a bit desperate.
Yeah, like I said a few games back, tomorrow when we see what the standings are, if a team needs that edge, or if a team needs, like, let's say I'm in second place and Avengers in first, and I want to take him out of the game, I'm going to drop down where I think he's going to go, and I'm going to fight him, and I'm going to take him out of the game early, so he gets basically no points.
Yeah.
And then, you know, however well I do, I can take the lead and then maybe secure the entire tournament. So tomorrow is when we'll see that. I don't think today, or in this last map, I don't think we're going to see that just yet.
Right, yeah, you got to stick to your game plan, as you were mentioning before Avenger.
Oh, definitely, but I don't think people are going to do ballsy moves, because we have, even though you do good contra other team, you're going to still have other teams breathing down your neck. So I think they're sticking to their game plan. Not the first or the second decision they do is, I mean, coming out of Pochinki, they're not going to change that if you have success the first day. I think they're going to keep doing that. And I also think, I don't think they're going to drop on what like contested teams. I don't think that's going to happen.
Looking at the 3 games that we've seen so far today and then going into the 4th game, who are some teams that have stood out to you as their play that haven't been able to breach like the very, very top spots? I know there's a lot of teams here, there's been a lot of players, it's hard to keep focus on all the action, but are there any teams to you, say sub the 7 or 8 mark or anything, even around there, that has been able to impress you in their movement, in their abilities? What do you think?
I think that Ninjas in Pajamas, in the 3rd game here, they came out from a northwestern side of the circle, and they're doing a wide shot, driving in Quarry, and driving just to the southeastern side of the circle, where there's basically no people. They don't know that, but they take a chance.
Yeah.
And they actually come into the circle without having to fight anybody. And then this next circle hits, and they have to do that again. So they drive really wide again, and they actually end up getting 3rd by driving a lot and have a really good position. They're really strong mechanical players, but still, the position, if the circles don't hit you, you're going to be having a hard time. But they play out of that. They succeed to play out of that.
I think we saw Noble trying to do what Nip did last game and try to like following. They were probably like 30 seconds behind, doing the exact same pathing though.
So Noble's one of your guys to kind of look at maybe? Or
I think they are a little bit too slow in their decision making and actually like acting on what they need to do. I guess right now, I know I've been talking about them a lot, but EG really has been consistently like top 7.
Yeah, no, they have.
So, you know, moving forward, if they get lucky with the circle, especially if it's like a military ending, then I think they have the potential to do really well in a game. But, you know, consistent top 7, top 8 finishes throughout the tournament, they're going to be in a really safe and secure point.
I mean, something that you were highlighting was the fact that Nip was able to take such wide angles in some of those last circles.
Twice?
Which was very important for them to try and kind of get deep in that run. But something that crazy happened up to the top right-hand side after the TSM versus FaZe fight is that Nip wide angle that they took actually disrupted a lot of TSM for the most part, and that was a massive fight and brawl that went out there. So when you're going to take those wide angles, you could probably expect some fights to occur because people are playing the edges towards that. Is that a fair assessment?
Maybe. I mean, they're going to be seeing people shooting and hearing people shooting, so they're going to drive away from that. But we also saw a lot of people waiting, and they're
All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. It's time now to head over to our commentary team as game number 4 is live, the final game of the day for the Intel Extreme Masters Oakland.
Yes, thank you very much. The drop's already coming across, and you can see it is a straight much Primorster Stauber run across the map, which is going to just obviously open everything up. It does mean some long drops are required if FaZe want to continue to try and go that Milta power route. Are we going to see AAA switch to their second choice, which is South Georgia Bowl? I'm looking at the map right now to see exactly where people are going to start going. I can see Penta heading towards South Georgia Bowl right now. I can see 2 teams heading to Severny as well. It's really going to change things up here. FaZe look like they're going for that long drop, but I don't think they're going to go Milta power. I think it's going to be more of a run around farm.
Well, this is like one of the perfect circles for the last game. For the day, we're going to see a little bit of everything that you could potentially want. Everybody's going to be able to separate out, get some solid loot. Nothing is too far away. We're coming over here right now with Cloud9. As you can see, they've kind of opted into this southwestern corner of the map. They're just trying to get a little bit of loot. They've all kind of separated out, and they're looking for different spots. We can see that a little, 3 of them are actually over at Primorsk right now. Solid's actually kind of go off in a different direction. Method right now, they're kind of holding down different locations throughout the map. They've kind of separated out. A lot of these teams are opting into a very centralized drop, though. And bring up the map for a second. You can see a lot of people are all kind of around that school, Pachinki area. Everybody's kind of they're separated just by a couple of buildings, but it's not this like what we were seeing in game 1 and game 2. Everybody really separating out. The only people that are really sticking to that is Tempo Storm.
And as the circle coming in, it's going to be over towards Yasnaya, Lipovka down to Milta. So ironically, if FaZe and AAA looks like they're heading towards their standard locations, which is down over the way Milta, are going to be perfect circle. And it does mean that Pentu've gone for that drop open towards South Georgia Pol into the front 6 and back 6 by the looks of it. Over towards Noble as well. And the first knock comes in. It is Texas from Crimson knocking Wind and Rain stab. And I did just actually get a chat with Wind and Rain in the break there as well. And just like, oh man, we got pincered. We got pincered between Method and Liquid. It wasn't a fun place to be. So that, you know, they felt that Method sure they absolutely deserved it. It is going to be the first kill of the game, and it's coming in very early. But if we go back to the map, and obviously we can see these guys are looking for this kill. We can see the split. You know, Cloud9 are down in Primorsk this time. EG, they are heading over to military base, but it's definitely changed up a lot of drops for a lot of teams.
And a big part about this is remember the way that the airplane came in. It made it to where that Milta area was not on an easy drop path.
Yeah.
So a lot of these squads are going to have to get in vehicles and very quickly mobilize back over here. You can see right now it's just going to be corn shuckers that are making their way back down as we immediately jump over with Wookie Bookie caught up in a fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fight continued. Wookie Bookie was sitting on top of that church for a long time. They have both dropped into ruins, so it's inevitable. There's, I would say, a sporadic amount of loot there for 2 squads. Certainly, the 1 squad you'd be looking towards, maybe going over to Watertown as well, but definitely 2 squads are going to clash.
It's starting to become a more popular drop location. You know, people drop down to Sunken City, a whole bunch of different names for Sunken City, call it whatever you will, but also going over to Ruin. Specifically, if you can hit both of them, you can get tons of loot out of that trade-off. But in this case, we've had 2 different groups drop down right next to each other, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to disengage and get the loot that's necessary. You can see right now, we're on Wookie Bookie, and he doesn't even have any body armor at this point. He doesn't want to get too involved into a fight.
Well, Miami Flamingos, who've been going into Yasnaya predominantly, they're about to run into Liquid, who are in and around Shelter area. We got Corn Shuckers who've gone over towards the side, and they're actually in Milta Power. The FaZe realize the Corn Shuckers are in their land. I mean, actually, looking at where they are positioned, they're actually behind each other, over and behind us. But there's Miami Flamingos, and they do run into Hollywood. Hollywood gets downed for Liquid. So Liquid losing players early. They've not had the best of luck so far, Liquid. They've been running into teams everywhere they go.
Now, speaking of a team that's had a little bit of trouble, that's going to be Penta, as we see a down coming out. Terra getting some clean shots onto Gems there. They've been kind of struggling here recently. They really have to find their footing, and they thought that coming up into here, maybe kind of contesting this area might be it, but Noble says no. Georgia Pool is our home, and they're just not going to let anybody aggress into it.
And that's very interesting. Noble starting out, they were obviously over in the hospital area. They've actually pushed up to the front six, which is where obviously, I guess, certainly for Penta, they were thinking, okay, we're going to have the back six and front six. That's the what I mean by that. If you don't know the terminology, it is the red houses either side of the apartments in South Georgia Pool. Obviously, they are prime loot positions. They are classed as like primary loot positions. Obviously, down by the amount of loot that's in there and the distance you have to travel. Looks like Wind and Rain, they've been very much involved in a lot of fights. They're going to take a couple of shots at Drassel. Drassel's just going to pass on by. Interesting, Luminosity have been dropping into ruins quite regularly. This time they obviously opted out of it. They've gone more the Gatka route where Tempo Storm are as well. Over in Miami Flamingos, they did move out of Yasnaya very early this time. They've been predominantly going into West Yasnaya. They've decided to start looking in and around the areas. They're trying to get as central as possible as soon as this came in. And you can see Tempo Storm trying to do the same. A lot of teams starting to transition now into looking towards those middle complexes. There's some absolute godlike complexes in and around this area right now. I can see Cornchuckers have already taken one of those high hill positions in there. There's a lot of teams positioned. That's why you guys at home that probably play this game, you're looking at the timer in the corner. You still got a minute on the blue. You can carry on looting for ages. This is the first circle. But these teams, it's all about positioning. And you'll see Drassel, who has just taken a lot of shots at the moment. He's got himself a kill. It's going to be Austin that will go down. And he got the knock onto Profi just as he headed over that hill.
Ghost Gaming is really another one of those teams that's been trying to find some type of kill, some type of position inside of here. They just keep taking some early losses coming out, and even taking a pistol to get the kill on top of it.
Pistol whip.
Conserve your AR rounds. Everybody knows that ARs are extremely strong, so Profi's up over the top side of this. We're actually having quite a few kills coming out in this early game. 74 people still up and active, but what we're starting to see is the teams are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. You can see that they're playing a little bit more confident. People are starting to get a feel for the map and how to play around these other teams, and they're starting to take some wide open shots from long range. Just right now watching Leighton just lay into a Dacia. You can see it struggling to get up the hill like, please, just get away from the bullets, please. Dacia's going uphill, just feels so bad.
And looking at Cornchucker's positioning, they've got the what's considered God Complex. We talked about this with Avenger before, obviously. There's a couple of complexes that have decent roof positions, decent lookout positions, but also walled around it, and you can also bring all your vehicles into it, and that's just to the north side of the warehouse area, etc. That's just north of shelter. So they're in that God Complex position. They're also actually holding over towards Mansion and the other top complex, so they're kind of feeling a little greedy right now. Wind of the Rain have ran, unfortunately, into a tricky position. They're basically now pinned in there. Miami Flamingos have them pinned. Alliance also landed some shots on them, so they're getting kind of pinned from both angles.
And that's, you know, that's not the place they want to be. They've got their vehicle, it's flaming out inside of them. Wind and Rain had to retreat back into this shack. They're just going to try to figure out now how to reposition and get out of here, because that's the big problem. Where they're at, sure, they're safe from now, but they're eventually going to have to move. And look at the mini-map around them. There is just squad upon squad that's already kind of posted up with different firing angles upon them. And now, here we go, Miami Flamingos getting some nice shots onto Ninjas in Pajamas as they drive by.
Yeah, they're a team that needs some kills. Both of these, actually. NIP obviously had a decent finish in the last one, and, you know, over in the other side of the tournament, they've just reached the grand finals in the Counter-Strike, so they're going to be very happy if they can get a decent finish here, as NIP do lose the man there. Borg, actually, the killer was picked up by Crimson, I believe. Not Crimson, sorry, Cornshuckers. Zampa in there. Very different tactics, actually, between these two, as we've seen quite a bit of action early on, actually, inside this. We expected this as we started hitting 4th and 5th games. We're going to start seeing a lot more shooting going on between these. Hayes tries to take down Fausto there from Digital Chaos. There's two different tactics. There's these teams here that we're looking at that have gone central very early, but there's TSM, Noble, Penta, Digital Chaos, Ronan, EG. They're all outside the circle, and they're all playing the late circle game this time.
Oh yeah, if we can bring up the map, you can see that everybody is so directly centralized right now. Coming back over here with Fausto. Remember, these guys did get win in game 1, so they're definitely trying to net some more points off of this. They're coming in the warehouse, which is kind of one of the rougher places to hold down. There are some big, wide open angles back behind it, so you really have to make sure you watch your flanks. So we're going to have to see how that warehouse play comes around there. But everybody right now is so centrally located. There's those outer teams like TSM we've talked about before. Noble still on the outside. Evil Geniuses, they're still down at military base. But everybody's just really trying to collect in and get as close to center as possible, which is going to be kind of interesting with everybody is centered up. If they have to reposition back out, it's just going to be a bloodbath.
I mean, this plane is basically the cross from Primorsk up to Kameshki has definitely changed the way things happen. AAA have actually worked their way into Milta and are quite happily looting while this happens. Method, they're still obviously the #1 team right now in the tournament. They're still sitting in Pachinki. They're continuing their loot path. Now you can see Miami Flamingos, they're realizing that they're desperately trying to find some ground to find their home. They've been in Yasnaya. They left Yasnaya so early on, and they've still not been able to get the prime position. 2 people on this bike, it's very, very dangerous. You're heavily exposed. They're passing by wind and the rain there, who are sitting there, but I think they're more concerned about basically keeping it alive in that little complex at the moment. You can see they're very much pinned. You can see by their teammate, Tony V. Now, is this a full flank going on? Or are they coming to... I think they're just rejoining the team.
Yeah, they just got on the bike. We're trying to get back over there. That's why we saw a nice little set of cover fire that was coming out from there, making sure that they didn't step out from inside that shack. They're still just trying to hold this angle. And this is kind of one of those awkward spots where you know exactly where somebody's at, and you can't look away from them. But at the same time, you feel like there's got to be something going on back behind me. I need to check that window.
I feel like the cameraman thinks the same as you. You just can't look away from them, despite the fact nothing will ever happen here. But instead, we are looking at the map, and you can see TSM, you know, they've been happy in North Georgia Pole. It has been fairly successful for them. Nobody's really tested them. But these 2 teams obviously clashed early on. You can see Noble in the distance there, the chosen one, running away from that one. Simsy decided to take a couple of shots on him in that swerving dance. He has some pro driving there as he manages to get the swing on there. These are 2 teams that need some kills. Penta obviously drops early on into Georgie South, which is where I guess Noble feel it's their home at the moment. Nobody's really challenged them out too much there. They are starting to all creep in. As the second circle comes in, it is going to be very much centralized, and now they have to get moving. EG doing the same. They're down in Milta. They're down in military, sorry. They're making their way forward. For me, I'm interested to see how FaZe are going to do, because FaZe have obviously had very poor games, I think it's safe to say. Poor first 3 rounds.
A couple games.
They, this time, haven't gone Milta power. They actually had to get the sporadic looting in and around the farm area in the south of farm. So they've had to work their way in. Now, they've been sitting very quietly in this game. They've just worked their way north and just sat there. They've not really engaged at the moment. Cloud9 themselves, nearby them, they started out in Primorsk, so they made their way up. And Method actually have left Pachinki and gone south. So rather than actually moving in towards the center, they decided, okay, we're going to play the edge game.
And that can be good and can be bad, especially if you look at right now on the map where Ronan was playing up at. They were in the far northern area up around Stolber and Kameshki. And you can kind of play around there and get a lot of free loot, because a lot of teams don't like to go up into that area just due to the fact that if you're nowhere near like where the next circle could be at. But in this case, it's really playing off from everybody. Now this is where it gets really, really bad. All of these squads that have been playing towards the edge are going to have to push in against that western side of that circle. At this point, you kind of go, okay, do we push down towards Milta? You don't want to drive straight in, because you're like, okay, surely there's going to be people posted up around there. Keep in mind, inside of this circle, we still have Lumberyard, which takes up so much space on the map. It's a nice place to play around, but you have to assume if you're a player, you're like 69 people still up and alive. Can't make sure we play around that area. You got to move around.
There's a couple of very good complexes in this situation. I'm just looking at one that's free, and it looks like NIP are going to get there first. It's just to the east side of Mansion, and it looks like NIP are going to get there first.
Styling there a little bit, Texas.
Oh, he learns it. We've all been there on that track. We know exactly how tricky that thing can be. It's a death beast in itself. Ronin themselves are coming across. Liquid are coming across. Everybody's trying to get these top complexes now. Crimson, are they going to stay there? Because they kind of have this gold complex that's kind of still in the center. They don't have a gold complex, but it's the complex that's gone.
It is a building complex that is often referred to as God.
Maybe they do have a gold complex. I don't know.
Hey, they've been playing
the corn
well today.
Yeah, they have a great position, but everybody's kind of creeping their way across. Everybody's still in the circle. There is quite a few shots as the transitions come across, as we can pan out and see. Everybody's starting to make the moves now as everybody works their way in. TSM, by the way, way up north, outside the blue. They're gas running it as effectively as you'd like to call it, way outside. They're actually up in Severny at the moment. They're going past Severny. They're way out of the map at the moment, so they're really hoping to just outrun the chaos.
And we can see right now, one of the downsides of that warehouse we were talking about beforehand, there's a squad post up right back behind Digital Chaos. They have to make sure they're constantly watching those angles. TSM's finally making a little bit of an approach in. Look at Method on the map. They're actually going out and going all the way around Pachinki. And they don't, you can tell that they're like, okay, how are we going to push back inside this? So they're going to circle all the way back up and around. Again, this is one of the early circles, so it's not the worst. We're coming back over here with Crimson. They actually have their vehicle that has been destroyed right next to them. It's got the flaming wreckage. Now they're going to have to figure out how they're going to get out of here.
I mean, they have an open field either way. Corn Chuckers are like, ha, we have you pinned. But they are in the circle, so they've no reason to move. They just basically have to watch the flanks and make sure they don't get
Plenty of
caught out.
reasons to move, but none of them good, you can say the least. You know you want to get out of there, but look at this. You can see Corn Chuckers. Envy's just got a straight line of sight onto him. They can retreat back up that hill, kind of, but that just gives line of sight. But off to the side, Miami Flamingos are right next to him, and you can see Digital Chaos still inside that warehouse as well. This is going to be one of the little hot spots, as different squads might have to reposition back through. And oh no, one of their vehicles is rolling away, one of their potential cover sources.
Well, this is the God area, the God position, as you can see. They got it's a flat roof building, but it has walls all around it. You can see they've got the vehicles in there. They haven't got all 4 vehicles in there, but they've got most of the vehicles in there. They could do with a vehicle just there, but I guess they were pretty short because they moved into this position very early on. FaZe have just got themselves positioned just to the west of Prison, so they took over that complex there. North of them is NIP, and that, of course, east of them is Cloud9. So this is all happening at the moment towards very much the center of the circle. Cloud9, I would say, are bang center at the moment.
To follow up what you were talking about the God buildings right now, one of the reasons why with these outer walls it's so strong is you can move around and you can position and you can maintain these sight lines. As you can see right now, Paradox, if he needs to reposition because he hears like a vehicle's coming in, he has some level of cover to move around and find these different angles, and it makes it really easy to secure this area. Meanwhile, if you're T-Bone at this point, and Jazzy, you're just kind of like, okay, we're stuck here. There's absolutely nothing they can do. They can potentially maybe separate out and run back. Maybe they don't even have any smokes. You can look down. If you look off to the side of the mini-map, they don't have any type of throwables that are equipped.
Just can we look at the map? Method have gone... they actually, well, okay, we've got FaZe here. They've took over this complex. As you can see, they're just holding every angle. This is the first time, by the way, we've reached second circle and FaZe have got 4 members alive. So they're AAA actually taking a lot of shots as they pass EG while we're looking at these guys camping out their position. There's a lot of action going on. I did just see AAA, I think they just lost a member actually there. Yeah, we did. We lost Shadow. Shadow went down. Vehicle exploded. So EG just took down Shadow, who've been sat in Milta for a large portion of the time. But if you look towards the north of the map, you can see Method. They've gone all the way around Pachinki. They went actually past ruins, through the Georgie Pole Bridge, and all the way around. So God knows how much damage they've taken while running this angle, because I guess they really wanted to be north of Yasnaya and towards the Stalper area.
What they're doing is they're trying to avoid any early casualties. Remember, Method did secure a lot of points and are now in first place. So they're trying to slow roll this game. They're definitely playing for the points in the survival game now. So they wanted to take this long route out, stay inside the blue as long as possible, because that just means they don't risk dying as much. I say that as Andy Pyro almost tips that over, but these guys are great at driving. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. They're going to be coming in right up next to TSM as they make this approach. Also around this Stalber area, there's a lot of little nice dips and crevices that you can play inside of. So we don't really have to see where TSM choose to post up at and where Method choose to make their approach into, because circle's collapsing in now. So next 20 or 30 seconds, we're going to see where that circle's at, and all these squads are going to potentially have to move.
There's still one very good complex available just to the east of NIP that I can see. That's got a great hillside and good angle. We'll see whether the circle pulls towards it as we're about to hit the third circle. Let's see where it's going to go. TSM and Method have got themselves positioned just on the edge of it, so they're playing very much a similar game. And that's actually quite clever for Method, obviously just avoiding it. They have first place, but it is going to fall very much on every team that is in there. There's not a great deal of them that are going to have to move. You can see it is falling on a beautiful, beautiful position. This is a potential for a very good game, because this is a very good finishing position.
Well, there's a lot of interesting terrain pieces that you can play around. You can still see that Prison and the area around it are still up and available.
Alliance are going straight into LG. They're going straight in. We can see, obviously, you can see the lines effectively happening. Here's AAA taking shots at Penta. Penta needs to get themselves a decent finish here. Simsy on the trike will get away from Monkey. Here comes his teammates. They're going to pass on by. Monkey's going to be able to get himself some more shots on towards the dash here. He's just going to let them pass on by instead, because now they have the hill advantage. Penta just got inside the circle. EG are going to be pushing up. So EG are going to be to the east and AAA to the west of Penta. So they've got to be careful if they set themselves up on this hill, which it looks like they have, judging by the map. They are going to be in a dangerous position, and that's why they watch EG pass on by.
And this is all a point where everybody's going to have to start securing different areas of terrain. while there's plenty of buildings that are available, nobody really wants to make the push for them because they're closer towards the edge. So you're going to see a lot of people trying to play in these little dips and def lanes that kind of play out through side here. See, EG's kind of driving around going, okay, where exactly do we want to play in this? And again, it's this under fire. They're trying to play inside this Wizard Shack, and they're in some trouble now. If EG decides to push in on this, remember, they don't know that there's only 2 members of Penta in here. So they're just trying to play this slow. And again, we find a nice set of terrain that they're playing inside of. I really love this spot.
Well, Noble have just took down Ghost Gaming. I think they've been wiped off the map, as it were, as Noble pushed in there. EG continuing to try and keep them pinned. And Penta, I mean, these buildings have a lot of names. Wizard's Tower, Harry Potter.
Everybody calls them.
You like to call it Sniper, I believe.
I've called it a Sniper Tower beforehand because that seems more thematic. I don't know, whenever you say Harry Potter and Wizard Tower, it just kind of imagines people riding around on cruises instead of motorcycles.
You're not a wizard, man. You gotta dream and believe. TSM are making their way into the circle area, and actually they're going to get themselves a decent complex. They're coming in from the north side, obviously from up Kameshki way. They took a long route round at North Georgia Pole all the way around. There's a drop actually heading right towards them. Here they go. Ooh, that's a risky one. Okay, Abe's just like, no, you know what, I'll just abort there. Actually, AAA taking shots. It's Tempo Storm. That's an interesting one because that's a battle for a position, really, effectively. Tempo and AAA, I think, are second and third right now in terms of points there. So a kill going AAA's way as they have a vision on Luminosity. And they just take a pot shot at Ninja, I think, in the top building there.
But we do have Method that is now entering inside the circle. We saw TSM just recently come in and claim the building complex next to it. Method's just going to have it looks like a crate that's going to be dropping right next to them, so they're going to end up playing inside of this area. Drumming in over now, and we're seeing Against All Authority, Shiv. This is definitely one of their better shooters on the squad, and trying to keep an eye out and around them. They're having to be playing inside the terrain at this point, so they're kind of living the tree life, trying to find some nice shots, some nice angles, so that way they can clear out anything that's around them.
So, okay, if you've got your teammate and you manage to get an AWM on him, elusive's there, careful, Zampa's there. If you obviously get a big weapon like that, do you think, okay, let's try and position so we have a position where, a high ground position where we can fire? Or do you just think, okay, just play normal?
I think that it depends on the team, but a lot of the teams just opt always into position king. You know, everybody always talks about the looting phases. Oh my God, we've got to get this. A lot of these guys feel if they can just get an AR, a little bit of armor, and some helmets, they don't care. They'll fight and kill and get whatever loot that they need off of it. They just need to play and always hold down the strongest point on it. And we can see that Method did end up claiming that, so now they're going to hop back in their vehicles. It's going to be interesting to see where they choose to go, because they might be the catalyst here.
Didn't bother with the MK14. I don't think he bothered. He didn't pick it up.
Some teams,
I don't think anyone else did.
Some people just don't like it.
I don't like it myself. I know Rich is a big fan of it. We had
always
these discussions in the qualifiers. Yeah.
The Mini is like my favorite sniper rifle if I'm going to use it. It's just like a laser pointer. You're just firing it out. Speaking of firing stuff out, we can see over here with Pantico taking some shots.
This could be the worst finishing for Tempo Storm so far today. They are Valiant obviously trying to get in there. They've already lost the teammates, so he's really looking for place. Is he going to really just ditch it? Oh, the next circle. Oh, NIP and FaZe and Cloud9 all in very good positions. It's going to force a lot of movement. Look at the western side of the map. You got Corn Shuckers, you got Digital Chaos, Miami Flamingos. They all need to make the moves. You got AAA. They're already on the way as well. Everybody's starting to make this transition. This is where the 64 alive is going to get whittled down to about 30 in very quick fashion. Valiant desperately trying to duck the bullets. He's going 100 kilometers an hour, but that vehicle is taking a lot of damage, and himself, he's found the rock, he's gonna hide.
Oh, he got so close to making it. You can see the safety. He was like, I did it, and then the bullets just fly out, take him down. But Tempo Storm has been doing a very quiet job of securing nice positions out here. So really gonna be interesting to see now. We can see Corn Shuckers holding down this building still. They're going to have to reposition out. This has kind of been their home for a while now. Miami Flamingos taking some damage by Frex off to the side. So we're going to see Miami Flamingos holding down one section. Cloud9 holding down the section just to the north of Corn Shuckers, as we can see from Envy's perspective. But they are going to have to move about 100 meters inside.
Yeah, the transitions are really starting to happen. Everybody's making their move. You can see Cloud9, they are in a good position. They're starting to take the pot shots. You can see Corn Shuckers, they're trying to take shots at them because the blue obviously is not going to come for another 40 seconds. They want to get as much clear space as they can as Frolicker goes down. That's AAA. They've just worked their way in towards that circle. They're pushing Cloud9's position. So while Cloud9 are there, we're looking at Corn Shuckers. Cloud9 have AAA pushing right up on them, which is why they're losing people. EG, they're coming in the backside of FaZe, so Fuzzface manages to say, no, get away, this is our complex. Noble tried to make their move. They're trying to creep into the circle, and TSM are keeping them at arm's length, but NIP currently have probably the best position, but they have just dropped out. A Method trying to work into that position, and that's why you see Energetic Turtle going
nice
down.
Grenade coming up from Gemty there.
Yeah, Gemty's trying to push his way around. It's EG, they're walking into a really hard place, and FaZe, they're a team that absolutely need to perform. They need the kills, so this is working well for them.
They have to hold down this area right next to them. They can't let Evil Geniuses push inside here. They're holding down this. They have to retreat back up. You can see they're trying to find these different angles. Jimty is trying to look back over. He knows where they're at, but just can't quite seem to find it. There we go. A little bit of damage coming onto Ghoul.
Just trying to creep around the side there. You can see NIP, TSM, they're engaging over towards the north side. Luminosity have actually been forced into prison by AAA. My God, Digital Chaos have just come straight on top of them as well as we watch Nomi desperately trying to keep himself alive. That vehicle very close to exploding. Let's look at the minimap, please. Can we get the map up? Because we see there's a lot of transitions. Everybody's starting to pile into the circle now. As you can see, Wind and Rain coming in, Penta coming in, everything happening in towards that south side. Luminosity actually getting pinched from the top by Alliance as well as they come in. AAA, they are in trouble. Monkey goes down. They're going to get wiped out as Penta come in. To pick up some kills. It is absolute chaos. Digital Chaos themselves, they've got 3 members down. You can see Jockey's trying to get across, but he's in open. Zappa taking the shots as well. 100 rounds manages to go down outside the zone. Luminosity taking shots, and suddenly the numbers are dropping. 65 at the start of this circle. The next circle comes in. It is right on top of NIP. They are the only ones right now in that circle.
We talked about it. Moving late is such a dangerous choice, and so many teams moved late, and they just ran right into a kill box of 3 teams just lighting up everyone. You can see now, off in the northern section of this, several squads are all collapsing on top of each other. As we can see that FaZe is off on the distance. Evil Geniuses is still trying to push inside. We've got firefights happening on multiple different sections of the map right now, but nothing really happening inside the safe zone. Everybody's caught in these small skirmishes, and they're not getting the ability to move. And so the longer they're kind of forced to stay in these firefights to try to stay alive, that extra little bit longer means the fact that it's just going to be so rough to step out. Fuzzface does step around, and a nice vehicle explosion going off there.
That finishes off EG. They have gone down, and that opens up. Obviously, FaZe can now make that transition. They can move towards that next circle. Noble, though, themselves are in the way, so they're going to have to try and pass on by there as Chappie tries to finish us off Gustav there. Gustav will go down. Luminosity actually starting to collect some kills. You know, they got pushed into prison. They've got that, like, little ridge line outside the prison. You can see Morman here also looking in a decent position for Liquid as Scoom gets knocked by Ronan. Everybody having to start moving. They have that mansion position. They've got to move into the circle. NIP are looking very good right now. That they have the only complex in this circle area, and it's a very good complex.
But with 37 people alive, you still have to hold it down.
You need a lot of bullets.
You're going to need a lot of bullets to make sure that nobody comes over there. And especially the fact that there are multiple different vehicle spots. Oh, and here we go. LG actually securing a kill off on that. Nice shots coming up from Ninja. We haven't had a chance to really get in with them too often today. They've been having a little bit of a rough morning as well today. So really excited to see them actually get up on the board with that.
They got to be careful. Penta's staring right at them as they make this move. Ultra's just staring straight at them. Ducks, they're over here. This is over at Mansion. You can see Liquid. They're starting to look to make their move out of it. The circle coming in now, and they're going to have to start moving. You can see they have that hill position. Ronan are kind of on the back side of Mansion, so they really have quite a bit of distance to move. First FaZe and Co. FaZe are moving in towards the circle. They're getting themselves up with the vehicles. Penta just waiting. Oh, Ninja's on absolutely nothing. He's going to get knocked by the play zone. Penta didn't even need to take the shots, but unfortunately it means nobody gets the kill for it. And obviously 10 points going lost there as everybody moves in. Liquid moving in, Ronan moving in. Let's get the map up. You can see everybody starting to pile into the position. It is absolutely chaos. FaZe have moved into a great position here. They've got themselves set up. It's fairly exposed, but they have the vehicles. Mex is starting to take a lot of these shots. This is a big round for FaZe as they start to decimate Cloud9 in the distance.
See, the Corn Shuckers made a quick move over and play in this terrain. All the firefight was happening next to them. FaZe was distracted in a different angle. Now turns around, and that's going to be a big fight that's going to have to happen between what's going on with FaZe and Corn Shuckers. But just to the north of them, Cloud9 and Liquid are still caught inside this fight. 22 people now alive, but look at the spread that's coming out on this. Luminosity having such trouble making it in the circle.
First FaZe continuing to pick off. Oroxe is, by the way, outside in the zone, outside the blue. He's just trying to tank his way through this one medic. He could play spoiler. He's coming right in behind First FaZe right now. He's going to be right on the backside as he comes in towards this tree. Could play absolute massive spoiler on them. Liquid continuing to land the kills as well. Oroxe is the blue, the play zone. Oh, he's going to go down. First FaZe just spins around and takes him out in a quick flick shot. Crunch and NIP. Oh my God, the next circle. It is still on top of NIP. They absolutely have this complex on lockdown, but Luminosity are going to challenge them. They're starting to come in. You can see Draxel and Gypsy going to move in. Crunch is going to have to keep it. They've split. You can see X off the side there. There's Draxel. He's going to get picked off by X. That will get finished off. Nobody's still able to push their position. TSM off to the west side. You've got to the north, Liquid, and to the south west position is FaZe with still 3 members alive, but First FaZe has just been knocked.
but it's 14 seconds, 10 seconds now before everybody has to come in. Ninjas in Pajamas are doing a good job of holding down all of their sight lines. You can see that, trying to make sure that Liquid can't push in. Everybody's kind of forced to kind of come around, come in on their push.
Well, they have the vehicle position. Oh, some big hits from TSM there. They have to start moving in. You can see FaZe. FaZe are going into NIP. They're going to try and push the complex. It's only Mexi, and the last man. Oh, as they missed it, we missed it. Yempty got took it down. It was actually Liquid that landed the kill as well. Mexi, the last man standing for FaZe. Envy from Cornchuckers is trying to run the blue as well. He's trying to med his way through that one. TSM off the side. They have to push in. It's Liquid that are starting to take the shots as they use the smoke grenades to try and cover it. Scoob's going to try and get as much as he can. Team Liquid, they're a team that needs some big finishes here. Envy goes down outside the play zone. Vitz goes down on the play zone. We're down to the last 10. It is NIP, FaZe, TSM, and Liquid still alive as they all move into this complex. This complex, by the way, just on the edge of the play zone as AIM pushes in, takes down Crutch. Scoob replies. He drops TSM down as he manages to land the shot. They've got this little vehicle set up, but still the only people now in the zone is TSM.
See, right now, Ninjas in Pajamas, X is kind of looking around, trying to find the right angle onto it. If he had peeked just a little bit more to the right, he might have seen something coming off of that. Liquid is off in the distance and trying to make sure that nobody can push through.
Does X realize that Mexi is right behind him? Mex is just outside his house. Look at him. Look, he's tucked in the corner there.
Mex is just trying to hide right in that corner. He's just being as ninja as he can right now. He's just trying to survive. With 10 people up and active, you want to kind of listen in for all of the shots, get a feel for where everybody's coming through at, so that way you can make some type of approach. Specifically, if you're the solo man, you really have to sneak in onto this, so that's why he's just kind of playing inside what cover he can find, and in about 23 seconds he's going to have to step out and just shoot whatever comes his way.
Breaks using this rock, and this rock could play dividends for them. You see Crunch go down to a grenade from AIM. TSM picking up the kills. They had a good finish in the second game.
Liquid's repositioning all of their vehicles right now. They're trying to gather them all up, bring them back inside the circle, and try to make some type of fortification for themselves. They're using the smokes with that.
Okay, the blue is on. It's going to move, and it's going to push people in. 9 alive. Who is going to come out on top in game number 4, the final of the day? FaZe really need a big win here. They've already got themselves 4th place. Break gets knocked by Gypsy as LG starting to get themselves a little spoiler effectively. Liquid, they've just got knocked twice there. They're losing people. X is actually playing a real distance. You can see Mexi, he takes down Chips on the side there, so Gypsy goes down with a double knock though for NIP. It puts Liquid in real dangerous position. The blue moves in, 6 alive. As I look towards it, the next circle comes in. It's going to be the tiniest of tiniest circles as Smack tries to get his teammate up. X just off the side there. It is going to be between the 5 members as Hayes goes down outside the zone. I really don't know who can come out on top in this one.
Everybody's just kind of dancing around these little yellow buildings. Everybody's taking some form of damage. AIMPR looks like he's trying to get a little bit of health back up. Yep, so he's going to get up in health. Now X has been kind of playing inside of all of these buildings and been moving really, really solidly. And Smack securing a nice kill onto that. Now we are down to 4.
Scoom taking damage as well, just outside, and it's X actually looking towards him. Smack picks around, he gets himself the finish. That's Liquid down. It's TSM versus Nip. It's X versus 2 members of TSM. Can he do it in a 1v2?
And I think that X gets a feeling that it's all onto him at this point. He's trying to play the different angles and he's stepping out. So with that, TSM does secure 1st place inside that round. They net themselves 10 kills, all things considered. Coming in second, we've got NIP with X coming with 3 kills.
Yeah, and 10 kills for FaZe actually, so much needed points for them. They were obviously not having the best of luck for them. Overall, you know, 265 points is a much needed position. They were in 10th at the start of this, so it's definitely moved them into the top half. Big points for NIP, and you can see those guys, you know, they were in a great position early on. They got themselves positioned in towards that complex and stayed there for a long time, but they had to fight for it. It wasn't easy for them, but TSM, great positioning. Remember, they started North Georgia, they went all the way around. They went right up to Stalba and down into it. They played the late Chaos game. We talked about it before when they had that Cloud9 2nd place finish. This time, they've gone one better. They've got that 1st place finish.
And I have to say, I was extremely impressed with X pathing inside of those last couple of circles. He managed to move from building to building and secure a kill here or there, just the necessary path to get him inside there and secure Ninjas in Pajamas second place. They were in a really rough spot with all of those squads pushing in. It was pretty much on X's back to try to push inside there, but again, TSM just doing such a good job on securing so many different angles, and as you're saying right now, Luminosity Gaming doing a good job of making their way inside of here and finally getting themselves a 5th place finish.
Yeah, the best finishes so far for Liquid FaZe and Luminosity. They've all had a tough day, I think. This is going to be definitely a morale booster for them, obviously. When you start falling 400-500 points behind, you realize you need a really big finish then going into game 2. This has just put them all back on the board and really leveled things out a little bit. Obviously, we were looking towards the top of the tables with Method. You can see they're not in the top 10 this time around. You know, they tried to do a similar route to TSM. It didn't work out for them. They actually ran into NIP, I believe, and that's where NIP started picking up a lot of those kills. But very interesting finish, I think it's safe to say. I was happy when I saw the area that was going to push it, because you knew it was going to be a firefight between everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why you don't see like a 17-kill finish by one team. It's because it's very much spread. Look at the kills. It's spread. It's like almost every team's got 10 to 5 kills between them.
And so with this, guys, we saw some great performances coming out from TSM securing 1st place. So with this, we're going to go ahead and throw it over to an interview with Smack to break down what he saw inside that game.
Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Xfinity post-match interview. Guys, give it up for TSM! Smack, you guys really needed that. Obviously, a couple of rough games, especially game number 1. That was a very rough game. First of all, let's get a general feel. How are you and the team feeling after that win?
We're loving it. We're so excited to be here. I'm super proud of the guys. They're playing out of their mind, and it's just awesome.
Okay, so let's talk about general how TSM plays. You're a slower team. You always kind of come a little bit late game. You do get a bit of a meme and a few comments now and again. You like to kind of loot outside there in the blue. But I tell you what, it's been paying off. We've seen in some of the tournaments you guys have been playing, you've been getting some high rankings, you've been getting better and better. Does this kind of come down to this boot camp that you guys have been doing?
I've talked about it before, and I absolutely think so. There are other teams like it. We have 2 NA players and 2 EU players, and since we're streamers as well, it's kind of tough to be on the same page a lot. We can't talk strategy and things on stream, right? So this boot camp was a big step forward for us, talking over things that we really needed to discuss and really get on the same page. It was good.
I mean, you guys have been doing this for years now, right? You've been back in the day with the IEM. We've seen you playing many games, streaming many different stuff. Obviously, EU, NA difference. Does that kind of become a little bit of a problem when practice comes into play?
I mean, a little bit. You know, connection can have a bit to play, but more than that, it's schedule. You know, we can't play in a lot of NA events because these guys will be playing and the EU guys will be playing in insane hours. So we play a lot of EU events and we just push through it and, you know, hope for the best.
Okay, we're about to wrap this up, but obviously TSM, it must be, to wear this logo on your shirt, I mean, does it add any pressure or does it really just make you proud and want to do the audience proud?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. From day one, it was kind of a thing for me. Do I deserve to be on TSM? Like, it was really scary, honestly, at first. And for us, we just wanted to work hard to make everybody proud, make TSM proud, make all the fans proud.
I think I speak for everyone in this audience when I say you guys do definitely deserve to be on this team, okay? So for all the people in the crowd, anyone at home that's watching you, anyone that supported you guys, what do you have to say to them?
Love you guys. Thank you for all the support. You guys are the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, Smack and TSM, guys, we're going to take a very short break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're breaking down all today's action. We'll see you in a second.
The history comes full circle yet again now. The persistence, the dreams, the sweat, the struggle, the tradition. Some things cannot be named, some places cannot be described. You can feel it, you know you can be a part of the extraordinary.
All eyes are on you. So give them greatness with Intel Extreme Masters certified PCs and notebooks and game like the pros. When you see the unique IEM certified stickers on the outside, you'll find high-grade components with Intel Core i5 and i7 processors inside. Every purchase includes in-game content and supports the prize pool of Intel Extreme Masters. Game like a pro, because the world is watching.
We spend 1/10 of our lives socializing with family and friends. We
giây phút nào đó những tổn thương này hóa thành sắt đá.